I call the meeting of the San Juan Unified District Board of Education to order. There are 3 closed session items on tonight's agenda. First is the conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, sub D, sub A, 2 cases. Name of case, Magali Kincaid, Benito Juarez Neighborhood Association, Neighborhood Elections Now, Juan Iniguez, Carolina Flores, Damaris Canton versus San Juan Unified School District, complainant for violation of California Voting Rights Act, and in the alternative for violation of Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the California Constitution, California Superior Court case number 34202002-86475. And second, Carolina Flores, Neighborhood Elections Now, petitioners versus San Juan Unified School District, Paula Villasquez in her official capacity of board president, respondents, verified petition for writ of mandate pursuant to the First Amendment of the California Constitution, California Public Records Act, and the Ralph M. Brown Act, and compliant for declaratory and injunctive relief, Sacramento Superior Court, case number 34200800036444 CUWMGDS. And second, 2 student expulsions under Education Code Section 48918 sub F. And finally, collective bargaining matters, discussion with negotiator Daniel Thigpen, Senior Director Labor Relations regarding CSEA Chapter 127, General Operations Support, chauffeurs, Teamsters, Local 150, Transportation Supervisors, Teachers, and Certificate Personnel Supervisory Units regarding non-represented groups, and Management and Confidential Units, Government Code Section 54957 sub 6. Do we have any? We do not. And so we will now move into a closed session, and we will return to open session at 6:30. I call the meeting of the San Juan Unified School District Board of Education back to order. This meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recording may capture sounds and images of those attending this meeting. The recording will be posted on the district website. Board meetings are being held in person in the boardroom at the district office, and the public is welcome to attend. Alternatively, the meeting may also be viewed on the district's YouTube channel, where it is being live streamed. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Casa Roble Fundamental High School Air Force ROTC Band. Good evening and welcome. I am Michael McKibben, Board President. To my right is Ms. Zima Creason, Board Vice President. To her right is Ms. Pam Costa, Clerk. And to her right is Mr. Saul Hernandez and Ms. Paula Villasquez, Board Members. To my left is Superintendent Ken Kern, and to his left is Board Administrative Assistant Stephanie Cunningham. Individuals who are attending the meeting in person and would like to offer public comment we ask that you complete your speaker request card available at the staff table, and that you will be called on at the appropriate time during the agenda. Please note that Board Bylaws 9323 limits visitor comments to 2 minutes per speaker with no more than 30 minutes per single topic. Time will be extended for any speaker who uses an interpreter. Please be aware that public comments, including your name, become part of the public record. We are now at item D, approval of minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes of March 8?
I move the item.
By Ms. Fass, second by?
Second.
By Ms. Creason. It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Ms. Costa abstains. This motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. We now move to item E1. Tonight, we have one recognition, Week of the Young Child. Ms. Townsend Snyder.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President McKibben, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Tonight is an exciting evening where the superintendent is recommending that the board adopt resolution number A412 proclaiming the week of April 2nd through 8th, 2022 as the Week of the Young Child. With me tonight is Lisa Teal, who will share her plans for this exciting celebration with her team and the lovely kids.
Good evening. I'm very excited to be here tonight to celebrate our amazing ECE department. The Week of the Young Child is an annual celebration sponsored by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, commonly referred to as the NAEYC. The purpose of the Week of the Young Child is actually to focus public attention to the needs of our young children and their families, and to recognize that early childhood programs and services that meet their needs. NEYC designates the Week of the Young Child, which happens to be April 2nd through April 8th, but events are planned by individual early childhood programs and community organizations providing services to young children and families. Next slide, please. All right, as you can see, we're pretty busy in ECE. We have several programs that serve prenatal to 36 months. Our Early Head Start program serves a home-based program that serves 84 families. We have 5 infant toddler centers that serve up to 80 families. And we have a First 5 parent participation playgroup. Now, when it comes to our 3 to 4-year-olds, we have a Head Start preschool program serving up to 1,080 students. And we do have one fee-based Early Learning Academy preschool program serving up to 24 children. Discovery Club serves school-aged students before and after school. Next slide, please. All right, so how we're gonna celebrate, this is just gonna give us a few fun examples. We're gonna begin our week with Music Monday. Music is a way to infuse how we can learn through imitation and sound and movement. These activities will target the language and early literacy skills for our young children. Next slide, please. Tasty Tuesday. Through hands-on cooking experiences, we work on foundational math, science, and literacy skills that help students prepare for the future learning opportunities. Next slide, please. Work Together Wednesday. So working together is really how we survive in this world. From from our school to work and out in the community. By having suggested themed activities, we can build social skills, communication, and build the brain to be ready for school. Next slide, please. Family Friday. In ECE, we always want to honor our parents and help provide them with as many resources as possible, help our families teach their children in their home and out in the community. Bravo to all of our San Juan Unified ECE parents for being their child's most important teacher. Next slide, please. Okay, so this year, how we're gonna give back to our staff for all the hard work and dedication that they've been providing our families is by giving them some amazing t-shirts, and we are gonna celebrate their hard work and efforts made. So members of the board, please contact me if you would like one. Let me know your size and we'll make sure to get one for you so that you can show your continued support within our ECE department. Next slide, please. Okay, this is for the real fun. Now it's time to take a look at the cute faces of ECE. Can you play the video, please? Next slide, please. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to share ECE's Week of the Young Child celebration with you all tonight. Before I leave, I would love for us to applaud our incredible ECE teachers, support staff, families, and students for continuing to show up each day no matter what. And now, Dr. McKibben, I pass it back to you with any questions or comments that the board might have. Thank you.
Do any board members have any comments or questions they'd like to ask? We'll start with Ms. Villescaz.
I just want to express my gratitude both for the presentation and for all of the work that's done every day for our littlest learners. Nothing like a pandemic to really highlight the important role that that is played, particularly, again, the early stages of learning. And so I just want to say thank you. And I also wanted to indicate I will not be asking for a t-shirt, but please don't think that that's because it's not adorable and that I don't want one. I don't have room for t-shirts anymore. I've collected quite a few, but thanks for the offer. But thank you very much to all of our administrators, teachers, and other staff members and the community at large that support our youngest learners. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
I do want a shirt, XX, please.
All right, you got
Thank you
it.
for the report. It was very nice.
I got you. I got you.
Yes, please.
I just want to say I wish we could start every board meeting with videos looking at those beautiful children's faces. That was absolutely exquisite. And the work that ECE does is always top of the line. Thank you for what you and the staff do for our students. You do truly make a difference. Thanks.
Yes, please.
Thank you, and it's exciting to be able to celebrate the week of the young child. It does leave me wonders through a week of an old child. These are the things I think of here. My son, my little guy, who's not very little, he's taller than me and he's 15 now, did go to Ella. That's where he started. He was there the whole program, and he has lifelong friends that he's still friends with from Ella. And without getting into all the details, Caden had a really hard time in those years, just There's things going on, and because of a few select teachers, he really had a home base that was very supportive, that, you know, really wrapped their arms around Caden and our family. So, you know, our family has experienced firsthand the beauty of this wonderful, wonderful program. So thank you so much for all that you do. I'll also share that Caden started kindergarten at Cowan already reading, and I attribute, you know, a teeny bit of that to me because I read to him a lot. But a lot of that was really because of the time that he spent at Ella. So it's wonderful work, and thank you for all that you do. And I do want a t-shirt, but I am not announcing my size on this dais. I will email you. Very, very small.
Thank you. How many students do we serve of the young child ages approximately?
Our age total, well, see, in our Discovery Club school age program, we are serving over 1,000. Within our preschool program, we're serving 1,080. And then within our early Head Start, it's about 168 total. So we're pretty up there. We're larger than most people think.
Yeah, I share with Ms. Creason that without the Discovery Club, we would, as a family, we would not be able to do the things that we do. And now our Discovery Club attendee is now 23 years old. Yeah, so, yeah. So thank you all very much. This is an action item. Is there a motion to adopt resolution A412, proclaiming the week of April 2nd to 8th as the week of the young child?
So moved.
By Ms. Costa, second by
Second.
Ms. Creason. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, it is unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Teal and
you.
Ms. Townsend-Snyder. This was great. Thank you. Okay, we now move to high school student council reports. And tonight, we will hear from student representatives of Meraki High School and El Sereno High School. Welcome, and let's begin with Cameron Sadiq from Meraki.
Good evening, President Dr. McKibben, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. I am Kamran Sadiq from Meraki High School. Thank you for inviting me to talk about my school. On the 28th of February, the Fair Oaks Rotary held their first in-person speech contest after the coronavirus pandemic. 2 Meraki students attended and took second and third place. Over the 4-day weekend, Meraki's Arts, Media, and Entertainment Club completed production of Blindsided, which is a film directed, written, and produced by one of the students who attends our school. Many of our students are completing their personal projects. In the past few months, I have pursued my personal project and went to Foothill Flight School, managing to become a certified private pilot. In terms of future events, one of our yearly traditions is approaching. Majors Week is a week-long activity where students plan exciting activities for other students to attend. A couple events in the past year for Majors Week were astronomy nights, camping on the coast, and go-karting at K1 Racing. The Fair Oaks Rotary Photography Contest is coming up. It is scheduled for March 21st, and multiple students are planning on competing. In the past, a few of our students have placed, and we hope that the students will do well this year too. Now for a school first. The first ever prom is being planned for April. It will be a student-organized event, and we will be partnering with El Sereno to make it happen. Also in April, a cast member from the Broadway musical Wicked is going to be coming to the school and leading a theater workshop for interested students. Additionally, the school's new beekeeping club has been decorating the hives that the new bee colony will reside in. The colony is scheduled to arrive sometime in April. The school's gardening club has been preparing for spring planting. Among this year's planned plants are romaine lettuce, arugula, and cilantro. And in addition to that, to support our new bee population, students have specifically chosen to plant chamomile, zinnias, and echinacea. Thank you for having me this evening and listening to all the exciting things that are happening at Meraki. Do I have any questions?
School board members?
Thank you very much for the report, Cameron. I'm really impressed that you went to flight school. And so you're now a certified pilot, is that right?
I am, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
It's kind of a dream of mine, so I might follow up on that. I'm
It's
afraid
very
of
fun. I
heights,
highly
though. Is that a
recommend it.
problem? What was that, Cameron?
Very fun. I highly recommend it.
Is it okay if I'm afraid of heights?
I'm actually afraid of heights, yes. And I'm still a pilot.
You just don't look that. Okay. Also, I'm gonna need the date of the Wicked cast member visit because that sounds like a lot of fun. So I might.
I
make
don't
it a
believe
point.
we have a definite date on that yet.
That's okay.
So
I'll
we
follow
will get
up
back
on
to
it.
you if we
That
can.
sounds awesome. But just in general, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon and updating us on all of the fun things. I'm really excited about the first ever prom. So this isn't like first post-COVID prom. This is first prom ever, right?
For this school, yes.
Very cool. Looking forward to hearing how that goes. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. If there's anything I can do to support making sure that that's successful, please let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
It's just great to hear your report and your enthusiasm, how you represent your school. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Costa.
I'd just like to echo my thanks and congratulations. That's very impressive.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Creason.
I feel weird continuing. Okay. Want to make sure my colleague's okay. We know that Ms. Costa is working through some stuff, so I'm going to continue. You guys have a lot going on. That was a lot. So a couple of notes that I have is if you start selling honey, it sounds like a wonderful fundraiser, and you could sign me up for some local honey. That is fabulous. I cannot tell you how it warmed my heart to hear you talk about prom. I mean, that is just wonderful. I'm so happy that it's, you know, the first prom for Meraki, but just that we're doing prom. It's just warms my heart. I'm so happy that you're going to have that experience this year. I would love to know how I can see the Blindsided film.
I will have to get back to you on that.
Not a problem. I will follow up. But that's really exciting. Did you watch it?
I have not. I'm excited to see it as well.
Nope. So we'll have to compare notes when we both get a chance to take a look at it. That's wonderful. And congrats to the 2 winners of the speech contest. That's fabulous. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit more about how you came to the beekeeping enterprise and how that idea got started.
We actually built it on top of our shed 3 years ago when we built the shed, the students and staff together, and then one of our incoming parents this year is a member of the Sacramento Area Beekeepers Association. So she brought that energy and knowledge to finally get it done.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's great. Thank you very much for your report. We now turn to Michael Yo from El Sereno. We should have clapped. I'm sorry. We'll clap.
Good evening, President Dr. McKibben, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. I'm Michael Yo from El Sereno High School. Thank you for inviting me to share with you all of the events and activities happening at El Sereno. Student government, though relatively new and small, has been wildly successful in planning short yet fun activities for teachers, students, and the community. Recently, we held a virtual trivia day on Kahoot where students who don't come to campus had the opportunity to meet others and compete to win prizes. On Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day, students, teachers, and staff were surprised with gift bags to show spirit and appreciation. March 6th marked the first time student government got into the community, where we teamed up with the Limefight Foundation to help clean the American River and demonstrate our devotion to the community. Student government continues to plan more events and activities such as an Easter picnic and prom with Meraki. Extracurriculars are integral to our school, with one master teacher, Ms. Moore, hosting a seminar every Thursday to help her students live a healthier and happier life. It focuses on the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Students learn new life skills and discuss with each other their experiences to build better lives for themselves and the people around them. El Sereno also started offering a guitar class run by Mr. Cermak, which is open to everybody of all skill levels to come learn a new instrument and improve their current ability. It is curated so that students' wants and needs are put first, which enhances their specific interests on the instrument. Over the summer, students are invited to come back to campus as paid interns for 4 weeks, Monday to Friday, where they will help summer school students learn and innovate while also making $15 an hour. We are very proud of what we have achieved as a school this semester and are excited to see the road ahead. Thank you for having me here this evening, and it has been an honor to represent El Sereno and to speak to all of you. We appreciate your interest and support.
Board questions and comments. Ms. Fiascas.
I just want to thank you for joining us this afternoon and for the update. And I want to extend this similar offer with prom that I did to Team Meraki. I know you guys are working together, but if there's anything I can do to help make it successful, I would like to. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for your report, Ms. Yeo. That was very impressive. Thank you so much.
Ms. Creason.
Thank you for the report. I don't think I completely heard what you mentioned about the earn and learn opportunity.
Could you repeat that, please?
You had mentioned that there was going to be employment opportunities, if I heard that right? Maybe.
Yes.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
That's going to be over summer for 4 weeks, Monday to Friday, and students will earn $15 an hour helping summer school students.
Helping summer school students.
Yes.
That is fabulous. And it's something in my day job I say all the time, don't ask people to work for free. And I'm so happy that that decent wage is going to be afforded to the youth to do that work. That's fabulous. So thank you for reporting that. So cool to hear that you guys are going out and doing the community events again. I know that we had to rein that back in, and now we're throwing it back out. So that's wonderful. Again, so happy to hear about prom. Are you prom age? Are you going?
Yes.
Yay.
I will be
Feel free to
going.
send pictures. We love that stuff up here.
I'll be sure to get those to you.
Thank you so much for the report. It was great to hear it.
Of course.
Michael, thank you very much. Since I forgot to ask you to clap for Meraki before, I'll ask you to clap for both Michael and Cameron, and clap extra loud since I forgot it before. We would like to thank you for your reports and for being here tonight. Student voice is very important to the board. We appreciate your being here. You are welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but we realize that you have homework, well, maybe not this week, but most times have homework and busy lives. So if you need to attend to that, this is a good time to return to the other things that you need, that need your attention. Thank you very much. There are no staff reports and so forth. We are now at items E3 through E6. There are no staff reports, and so we move to closed session items. We are at E7, expulsion reports.
If it's okay with my colleagues, I'm going to call an audible here and report out. The board voted unanimously to accept a hearing panel's recommendation of one suspended expulsion in case number S42 and one expulsion in case number S44.
Okay. So we moved now to vote no visitor comments, and there are no visitor comments this evening, and we have not had any speaker cards. So we'll move on to the consent calendar. This is item G. Do any board members wish to remove any items from the consent calendar?
I would like to remove item G12 so I can abstain from voting on that item.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve items G1 through G11?
So moved.
Ms. Fiascas, Mr. Hernandez. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was unanimous. Now okay. Turn it over. Now we move back to item G12, certification of absence was pulled by Ms. Costa. Is there a motion to approve item G12?
So moved.
And a second by Ms. Creason. It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And there is one abstention. It is a 4-0 vote with one abstention. Now we move to the business items. Items I. English Learner and Refugee Report, Ms. Bassinelli.
Good evening, President McKibben, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. It's the goal of the English Learner Department to increase opportunities for our English learner students by fostering a welcoming environment, providing tiered layers of support and addressing barriers to student success. Tonight, Director Gwen Dillinger, Program Specialist Genevieve Mendoza Navarrete, and Supervisor Saeed Mansour will share EL demographic and performance data and outline the current programs and services available. We will also share a video with you that highlights the experiences of a family who are participants in a variety of our EL programs.
Good evening, everyone. English learners are a growing part of the K-12 student population at San Juan Unified. Between the 2019-20 and 21-22 school years, the percentage of English learners students have increased by 2%. Currently, San Juan is home to over 6,500 students with a primary language other than English. Here we can see the changes in primary language counts by academic year, starting with 2019-20 in green to our current academic year 2021-22 in blue. The most notable increases in language counts are in Dari, Farsi, and Pashto. These Persian languages originate from Afghanistan. As we know, the crisis in Afghanistan has had a huge impact on our community. Earlier this year, we were deeply concerned when many of our San Juan students were trapped in Afghanistan. We are thrilled to report that our students are now safely back in our schools. We have one family that may still be there, but most of our families are now home. Russian and Ukrainian make up about 10% of the primary languages spoken by our students. Given the terrible events happening in Ukraine, we are mindful of this population and offering what supports we can while these families are anxiously watching events unfold. Currently, immigration from Ukraine has been halted by the United States government. The resettlement agencies that we work with are anticipating an influx of Ukrainian refugees once those restrictions have been lifted. In the meantime, the Ukrainian population in San Juan remains consistent with about 400 students who were either born in Ukraine or speak the language. While some of our Ukrainian-speaking students are refugees, most have been with us for several years. Spanish continues to be the most prominent language of English learners, remaining steady at about 32%. Next slide. English language proficiency, or ELP, refers to the ability of a student to communicate in English in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, as determined by the student's overall level on the English Learner Proficiency Assessment for California, affectionately called LPAC. The LPAC is a rigorous assessment that measures a student's ability to read, write, speak, and listen in English. Several years ago, the LPAC became the new language test, replacing the CELT, or California English Development Test. In our district, 46% of our English learner student population are at the novice and level 1. These are emerging English learners who tend to rely on learned words and phrases to communicate meaning at a basic level. They need substantial linguistic support to communicate in academic contexts. 25% are level 2. English learners at this level can use English to meet immediate communication needs, but are often not able to use English to learn and communicate on academic content areas. 26% are level 3, or the expanding proficiency level. They need minimal linguistic support to engage in academic content. And 2% are level 4. These students can use English to learn and communicate in meaningful ways that are appropriate to different tasks, purposes, and audiences in a variety of social and academic contexts. You'll notice that only 2% of students are at level 4. This is a good thing, as once students reach level 4, on the rigorous LPAC assessment, they should be ready to be reclassified as English proficient. These remaining 2% are probably in process of being reclassified at this time. Next slide. Oh. We go back. Reclassification rates have risen by 2.5% since the 2019-20 school year. Partially, this is due to the effects of the pandemic. When the district moved to distance learning in March of 2020, reclassification was halted, resulting in a slight decline. In 2020-21, reclassification resumed. There are 4 criteria for reclassification, including the LPAC assessment score of a 4, a local indicator that shows English learner progress in comparison to all other students, parent recommendation, and teacher recommendation. Historically, the local indicator has been the state standardized testing SBAC for 3rd through 11th graders. With the pause on state standardized testing, districts have been using local assessments. San Juan's reclassification rates are significantly higher than the reclassification rates in Sacramento County, which are 3.7%, and slightly higher than those in the state of California, which currently stand at 6.9%. At this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Ms. Genoveva Mendoza-Navarrete. She will talk about the programs that lead students to reclassification. Genoveva?
Thank you, Gwen, for the introduction, and good evening, everyone. Multilingual learners come from a wide range of cultural, linguistic, educational, and socioeconomic backgrounds. They all bring assets, potential, and resources to schools that educators leverage to increase equity in a standards-based system. By delivering an English language development program focused on differentiated instruction strategies, By delivering an English language development program focused on differentiated instructional strategies, we are increasing avenues of access for all learners. At sites, ELD teachers monitor English learner progress through English proficiency levels to determine if students are making adequate growth or need additional support in attaining English proficiency. Placement monitoring is routinely evaluated at both the district and site levels to provide a flexible and needs-responsive approach in addressing the different characteristics and experiences of our student population. We strive to implement best practices that create systems of support and ensure newcomer students can thrive in our school communities by creating a welcoming school environment and improve student engagement, learning, and effort through creative scheduling and rigorous coursework. Systems of intervention are powerful in determining the kinds of support most appropriate for English language learners. These include progress monitoring, collaboration with specialized teachers and counselors, primary language supports, and community partnerships that provide wraparound services with adaptable supports to give the students and family realistic tools for success. These are a few of our highlighted professional learning opportunities. Our EL professional learning team worked together to develop systemic support for teachers to strengthen academic language and literacy for all students, with specific attention on strategies that provide scaffolded support for English learners. We offer systemic professional learning through monthly collaboration with EL specialists, coordinators, and MTSS teams. High-quality curricula and resources are provided, as well as innovative delivery that provides practitioners with both instructor-led and asynchronous self-paced options. In doing so, we remove the barrier of time and tailor the professional development to their schedule and need. As a district, our purpose is to strengthen collaboration across departments and increase the integration of ELD standards within English literacy, social studies, science, and math to provide quality instruction and meaningful access for all students. Due to our increased enrollment of newcomers and level 1 students, we currently have 61 BIAs providing primary language supports throughout schools and classrooms in our district. Our primary language support team is in place to help facilitate the flow of information between all of those responsible for the success of our students. They ensure that parents receive and understand school-side communication that may directly impact each family. This involves coordinating and disseminating information between the school, home, and the community, facilitating an understanding of school programs and objectives, and encouraging parent involvement in school activities. Primary language supports are critical in developing and maintaining effective working relationships with individuals, community groups, and social services agencies. They also provide a voice through dialogue between parents who don't speak English with school administrators and teachers, allowing them to contribute in their children's education in valuable ways.
At this point in the presentation, we would like to draw your attention to some of the specific programs and supports provided to newcomers. When we speak of newcomers, we are referring to students who join us as immigrants and refugees, often with little to no English. These students benefit from additional supports as they learn both English and grade level content while navigating a new and complex school system. It is our goal to provide a welcoming environment while accelerating student achievement so that our students graduate college and career ready. The San Juan Central Welcome Center provides us the first opportunity to make contact with families and provide a friendly face. This is the point where families are connected with the person who speaks the same language and can offer helpful information and clarification. Some examples of support specific to newcomers include primary language available in the classroom, in-person and online tutoring, intervention and programs offered outside of the classroom as well. For tutoring, we partner with a couple of companies that are online and provide languages, provide Spanish, Farsi, Dari, Pashto, Russian, Ukrainian, and a host of other languages. What's nice about these online tutoring companies is that they don't use Google Translate. They offer authentic translation at times when students like to access online tutoring. Before I turn the next few slides over to Mr. Syed Mansour, our newly promoted supervisor of the Cultural Brokers team, I would like to take a moment to recognize Ms. Christina Burkhardt. She's not here tonight, but she has been a pivotal leader in many of the programs you will hear described. Her great passion for the community and her leadership has built many of the programs that Mr. Syed Mansour will be speaking of, so I wanted to acknowledge her. And she is continuing her work, but she is now a vice principal at Mira Loma, and they're lucky to have her. With that, I'd like to introduce Syed Mansour, who will provide information related to refugee and immigrant students.
Thank you, Gwen. Good evening. Refugees have managed to escape, but often without family members and personal belongings. They have been through several levels of approval before gaining permission to resettle in United States. A refugee is someone who flees his or her country because of fear of persecution due to religion, political opinion, or social group, nationality, and race. Some of them may have experienced witnessing losing their family members, terrible violence, PTSD, etc. Currently, San Juan Unified School District is serving more than 2,000 refugee students. According to CD's definition, an immigrant student refers to a student who has been between the age of 3 to 21, who is born outside the United States and has not attended school in the United States for more than 3 full years. But the definition of immigrant or refugee student is varied based on the requirements and metrics of each project and grant. For instance, according to California Newcomer Education and Wellbeing Project, known as CALNEW, a refugee is someone who has been in the country for 5 years from the date of first U.S. entry. However, an immigrant is served for 10 years from the date of first U.S. school enrollment. These are the 7 prominent languages spoken by refugees. 85% of students identified as refugees speak Persian languages originating from Afghanistan. Those speaking Spanish include both unaccompanied minors and from South American countries. Our Ukrainian refugee population is relatively small at 3%. Our number could increase as world events unfold. The services offered by the Office of Student Learning Assistance for students who are identified as refugees or immigrants are very broad. To highlight some of them, from the point of enrollment, immigrants and refugee students are welcomed at San Juan Central, Room 17 by Newcomer support team. Students receive a welcome kit. We connect the family and the students with a school community resource assistant who speak their home language. The family is provided with a Newcomer support team brochure, community resources flyer, and the link for the welcome videos, which are available online in 7 high-density languages. In follow-up meeting, designated students are served by bilingual staff at the district and site levels. The school community resource assistants, refugee specialists, interpreters, and BIAs are readily available to support the refugee and immigrant students and their families as needed. Office of Student Learning Assistance is committed to offering various programs to the refugees and immigrant students, which are culturally responsive and improve youth involvement. Through interdepartmental collaboration or with the community partners, we offer programs which focuses on the students' academic, social emotional wellness, civic engagement, and societal adjustment. Additionally, our support team provides parent workshops on empowering topics for families and the community in the 7 high-density languages. Before watching this video regarding Jailani's family success story, I would rather prefer to elaborate a bit more about this family, and I have the honor of having Mr. Jailani this evening with us. I know this family since 2017. Mr. Jailani has attended the parent workshop on the Saturday Academy program, which was held at Greer Elementary in 2017. Mr. Jailani and his wife were very proactive and engaged. However, they were lost on how to navigate their kids' schooling system and how to find a better career opportunity for themselves. I helped Mr. Jailani's older son, who is graduating this year from UC Berkeley, to attend American River College in 2017. Najiullah Jailani, the second oldest child and a former El Camino graduate, has been selected to receive the ACSA Region 3 Every Student Succeeds Award for his amazing leadership. He was an exemplary student who served as a vice president in our Student Leadership Council, bilingual student tutor in our Saturday Academy and Newcomers summer school program. I must add that Mr. Jailani is now working as a school community resource assistant with San Juan Unified School District, and his wife is working as a BIA with San Juan Unified School District. Here, Jailani's success story in their words. Would you please play the video?
The programs that we have are invaluable to the success of our refugees. The reason why they're so important is because every new immigrant has different needs.
When I came to the United States, I was so confused because I couldn't know how to find the solution for my children's education. After a 2 month or 3 months, when they attend the summer school, they found their way. They learn a lot how to communicate with the teacher. Then they start speaking in English.
As I went more into these programs, like Saturday Academy and other programs, I learned how to speak English and improve my communication skills.
I was able to communicate with the teachers easily, and then that communication and feeling of belonging, it kind of helps students to thrive. It was a motivation. So as I was progressing in my school, I was getting into more and more programs here.
These programs are essential. They're crucial to the success of our refugees.
I'm a standing example of being through these programs, and then how I went from not even knowing English, and then to knowing a little bit of English, and then working for the school district.
I'm so happy because now I am father of 3 successful children, because my oldest son this year, he is going to graduate from Berkeley. He is double majoring. Also my other son, he is a student of UC Davis. And my youngest son, he is in honor position.
I've seen how it helped them success. I've seen how they got to prestigious universities and how it made them successful. And I want to continue in the same way and go in the same way as they went, and read the same standards that are meant for me to meet.
I am thankful of San Juan District for designing or these kind of programs.
That marks the end of our presentation. Again, thank you to Mr. Jelani. We are available for questions and clarifications. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. Ms. Fiascos?
Thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it. And of course, want to extend a huge heartfelt thank you to the entire team. I feel like behind each of these slides is about 1,000 stories, that half of which, if were retold, people might not even believe. Just because, each of these numbers has a family behind it and a story of perseverance and resilience. And so it's pretty cool to be able to tell that story. And I know there's been now, we went through a pandemic, and then we just went through the last 6 months of trying to figure out how we kept ending up in the middle of literally foreign affairs. Foreign affairs have landed at our lap time and time again. And it's because of the truth of what we always say we're proud of, which is that we are a diverse district and diversity is our strength. And these numbers on these slides definitely prove that. So I sit here with a ton of gratitude and want to, of course, thank the whole team, but in particular want to congratulate Syed on his well-deserved promotion. Congratulations. And want to acknowledge both him and Nimati in particular and their role in bringing back and supporting our families, our Afghan families, through the beginning of the school year, through the fall. Thank you very much. I hope my colleagues will join me in a round of applause to acknowledge them.
Let me jump in here on this because, You know, we heard the story early in the year about these individuals who were over there, and I feel a little bit of a special connection to Saeed and Nimiti as well, because there were many nights at 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning where we were waking each other up because it was 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the afternoon in Afghanistan. And these two gentlemen single-handedly communicated with every one of those families almost on a daily basis for months. And they literally saved these people's lives by helping them get back here. So I owe you such a debt of gratitude, Saeed and Nimiti, who's not here, because you saved families' lives, but you also probably taught me what the most important lesson that I've ever had. So just, I want to publicly say thank you.
I would like to get the opportunity and thank you, Mr. Concurrent, for the amazing leadership that you had and the awesome work experience that we had with you throughout the evacuation. It was your dedication, leadership, commitment, and your motivation that we were end up bringing almost all families to home except one family who was his decision. Thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I'm very honored and proud to be part of San Juan since 2016. Thank you.
Well, and we're proud to have you. So thank you very much for the presentation, and it's definitely a team work, but I know I was fortunate enough to be part of advocating for CalNew and continuing that because it was an extension of a federal program that we knew was likely going to go away in 2016. And so with the help of Assemblymember Kevin McCarty, we were able to advocate for funding in the state budget. And I would say that this is exactly what we had hoped for in the funding, but it's not. This is above and beyond anything we could have expected to have come from those investments. And it's these stories and this work that the entire team has done that's led to continued advocacy. That was a kind of one-time program that has continued because of all of the tremendous work that continues. And so I just want to again say thank you. And I'm also curious, perhaps in a BC, but I would just love to kind of see on paper our trends on the bilingual instructional assistants and how many we've hired through the years. I know that's grown pretty tremendously, and I think just capturing all of that in one area, and maybe not even just the BIAs, but kind of the staff increases that we've seen and kind of deliberately sought to increase to support our students and our families. That's all from me. I will now pass it on, but thank you.
Ms. Vasquez, I will say that with our ELO grant, we have expanded our BIAs and our SCRAs. We're up to about 20 school community resource assistants, and we started at CalNew, as you know, with 4 or 5. So we are expanding, and if anyone's out there and that wants to be a BIA or knows of BIAs, we are heavily recruiting because they're a critical piece of our work. So thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for the report and the moving video. That was really good. I know you don't have an answer for this because I wonder, and I'm going to ask you this because I saw it firsthand one day when I was visiting a campus, is how much, I know that we help these individuals with our resources, but how much do they help themselves? You know what I mean? I mean, they could be family members, I'm not sure. And I say that because I was visiting Will Rogers on Walk to School Day, you know, and the teacher that was in charge of this introduced me to the kid was brand new, first day at school, didn't speak a word of English, okay? But she knew I spoke Spanish, so she asked me to address him, which I did. But immediately when I started talking to this kid, two or three of his friends who spoke Spanish began interpreting, helping, explaining, and I thought, man, that's awesome. I mean, they're going to learn so much quicker from their peers. You know, it's just, and so as I was watching your numbers, I was just, you know, going from level 2 to level 3 as you were breaking down when they become proficient, if you will, that how much does that help them also help others. And I know you don't have an answer for me, but I saw it, and man, that's pretty awesome to see, so.
We see that daily. I don't have qualitative data for that, but anecdotally, as teachers and being out there like you were, we see that all the time, and we see the community offering support at every single level, and it immediately contributes to the social language and then slowly catches up with the academic content. So, yeah.
Mr. Hernandez, one of the things that we've kind of poked around about a little bit is how we could utilize using these students in an off period even and pay them during the school day. So there's some discussions that we've just started, because you heard a little bit about students, just exactly like you said, helping other students during the course of the day. I think sometimes the challenge is do they have the availability of that open period? But if we could get to that point, is that something that we could offer at certain schools? I think that would be really powerful.
I will say that Nima T, who we've been mentioning, he's now in charge of getting us student interns, student tutors, they will be paid at the $15 an hour rate, and we are definitely looking for our students who have reclassified or English level, 3s and 4s that will be helping with our summer programs for just that reason and getting paid. And right now we have 130, I think, already interested in the program.
Ms. Costa.
I'll try this. This was my second time hearing the report, and I'm doubly impressed hearing it the second time. One of the things that I just want to comment publicly is San Juan Unified is over the state and the county rate in reclassification. And I think that's something to be commended, because it is through the strong staff that we have. I'd also like to say that I think you are the lifeline for our English learner students and families and the school staffs that receive services on behalf of those students. So to all of your staff, thank you so much for being there for our students.
We thank you for your support.
Yes.
Thank you for the report. That was great. And yay, Jelani family thank you. Thank you for being here. It was such an honor just to see what you and your family are doing, and thank you for giving back to this community to help others in your community succeed and thrive. It's just wonderful. So thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. And thank you to the team for including that story, because we look at numbers all the time, and we're talking about real people. So I really appreciate the time that you took to include that real message of the people that we're really doing this work for, because it's so important. So I don't really have any questions, but I do have a bunch of comments, and I'll try to make them brief. Earlier in the presentation, there were remarks about several initiatives to really remove language barriers so that they are not impeding parents' engagement in their children's education, which is so incredibly important. I'm so thankful for that, because just because you're new to the language does not mean that you don't have a whole lot to give back and that you don't care about your kid. And it takes us to meet folks where they're at. And I know not all districts do what we do and go to the lengths that we do. And I know that we're always looking to grow and improve, and it's just such a big deal. So I just wanted to uplift that. Really appreciate the time that was spent defining the difference between refugees and immigrants, because not everybody knows the difference, and there's a very big difference. And so I appreciate the time that was spent there. I want to say that I'm really appreciative that we're very intentionally recruiting folks from the communities we seek to serve and ensuring that they're in leadership positions, as well as working directly with their communities. It's huge. So just want to uplift and say I'm so happy to see that. I was so happy to hear the word empowerment in the presentation. These are great folks that just need maybe some support, don't need everything done for them, nor do they want everything done for them. So we're empowering folks in an appropriate way, and that's great. I did want to call out one thing, because I know we use the language of reclassification, which I know is a standard term. But I just wanted to uplift that, although, of course, we're trying to move folks into this reclassification of, proficient in English. That is not to diminish the culture and the language that they brought to the table in the first place, and that we as a district do celebrate culture, we celebrate language, and although that we're working on this new growth, it's a new language, we don't want to take away from the beautiful culture that they came to the table with, that we all have so much to learn from as well. And my last comment is I appreciate the real life comments that were mentioned about Ukraine and Afghanistan. And just really calling out and saying the words, because a lot of us, many of us, I won't say a lot of us, many of us in this room have no clue what it's like to go through what folks in those two countries are going through, have and had gone through. So I appreciate the call out and uplifting it. I think that's it. Thank you for the presentation.
Again, thank you very much. That I want to recognize a couple of different things. One is that I'm struck by how many different departments in the school district are involved in this, from the sports, the soccer, to teaching and learning, to the FACE department, to elementary and secondary, all of them. And I think the reason why this is so successful is because it is done as a system and so forth. It's not often the school districts get involved in life and death situations. That happened in this district this year, and to all of us. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Kern.
And Gwen, I just wanted to take one opportunity as well to just say thank you to you for the leadership that you provided this year, and to your team. You know, you've stepped in and you've stepped up big time. And I think, the board and myself see that. So on behalf of all of us, just thank you as well.
It's been wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
We move on now to item I2, expanded learning opportunities. Ms. Bessinelli. I'm sorry, am I out of order? Oh, Ms. Townsend,
right.
I'm sorry.
No worries at all. Well, good evening again, Board President McKibben, members of the board, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. Tonight, we're happy to share with you a glimpse of our ELO plan and what it's looking like in the elementary division. Thank you. Presenting with me this evening is Petra Lurson, principal at Northridge Elementary School. Also joining us is our ELO coordinator, Rafael Martinez, and an audience support team from the Northridge staff, and a personal friend too. Woohoo! I want to send a thank you also to our elementary directors, administrators, and staff members who are likely watching this meeting with us via Zoom. They really were the ones who made this plan a reality and contributed to this presentation. Next slide. Thank you. As you know, last spring, the state allocated funds to provide supplemental instruction and support for targeted students. The approved plan was implemented to support actions connected to those 7 strategies that you see there on the screen in blue. All of the actions are directed towards the targeted student populations that you see in the green on the right-hand side of your screen. Both at the system level and the state level, these actions were identified for implementation through local control, where implementation was strictly based on what met the needs of each school and its unique student population. Next slide. To support our schools as they move towards making decisions, we implemented processes and parameters that were co-created with our labor leadership teams. These parameters included the identification of targeted students and focus areas through needs assessments, the expectation for collaboration and gathering input from our families, our staff, our students, and this was a major component of developing each unique plan at the sites. And finally, the implementation of continuous improvement practices, which helped us zoom in on progress monitoring so that as we approach each upcoming school year, we can identify what worked and what needs tweaking. Next slide. Some of our site level actions included, first, the expansion of certificated and classified staff, In this expansion, each site was allocated 1 FTE for additional certificated personnel, and that was in addition to funds based on school enrollment. For elementary, those funds looked like $100,000 for roughly 400 to 900 students and $85,000 for those 400 and below. Another action was school partnerships with community partners to provide our kids responsive learning environments at each of their unique communities. And finally, providing opportunities for professional learning in both social-emotional learning, trauma-informed practices, as well as instructional strategies. Next slide. 3 central actions were clearly in high demand in the elementary division right away, right out of the gate, and even still today. First, the instructional assistant professional learning. This one makes me smile every time I talk about it. Right now, as of today, we offer approximately 4 to 6 learning sessions per month that were collaboratively built across divisions. So multiple divisions participate in creating the learning opportunities. And in each of those learning sessions, we have between 10 and 20 classified staff members who are in attendance in each session, which includes our IAs and BIAs. So that's something that's really, really fantastic for our entire district. Second that popped up was the early literacy instructional materials, where you would have found principals and teachers asking for additional high interest texts for both their classroom libraries and their school libraries, in addition to assessment materials. And finally, professional development facilitation. Interestingly, we had a lot of interest in 2 unique books. One is Fostering Resilient Learners, and the other, Strategies for Creating Trauma-Sensitive Classrooms, which makes sense given the context that we were returning in. To help provide the board with a visual of what some of this looks like in action, and to breathe bright spots truly into the slides, I would like to invite Principal Petra Larson to share the Northridge story.
Thank you, Amberly. And thank you for inviting me to share a glimpse of what our team has been working on over the past year to re-engage our students and accelerate learning for all. Knowing we had many obstacles to navigate as we shifted back to in-person learning, our team viewed these obstacles primarily through the lens of engagement during distance learning and hybrid. We conducted listening sessions with students and families during site council, ELAC meetings, and collected data from teacher observations and narratives. Through these conversations, we found commonalities in the area of low levels of engagement, notably for our English learners and students of low SES families. Students in these groups struggled to access Zoom and their work in Google Classroom for a number of reasons. For many of our English learners, it proved challenging to attend both classroom instruction as well as their ELD group lesson, while also being able to access and/or complete their assignments in Google Classroom. Taking this into consideration as a site, we had big concerns around early literacy and the socialization and sense of community for all. Looking at these commonalities along with site data, our leadership team identified specific and targeted supports to support our students' return to in-person learning. These included lowering class sizes to support early literacy and primary grades, hiring a second Spanish-speaking bilingual instructional assistant to support upper grades, and allocating funds for programs during the day and before and after school, for programs such as our house system, providing on-site field trips, and providing clubs and programs outside the school day. Next slide, please. Some of the themes that came out from these conversations included: how can we continue and modify our house system to support school connectedness? How can we provide clubs of interest outside of academics for our kids to re-engage with one another and the community? How can we support primary teachers in getting their students ready? How can we support primary teachers in getting their students reading to prepare for 3rd grade when they shift from learning to read to reading to learn? Knowing our incoming 2nd graders had not experienced a full year of literacy instruction weighed heavily on our site, including the upper grade teachers who knew how learning can be impacted in the later grades if students are struggling readers. We wondered, what do our English learners need to re-engage in instruction and build on their confidence level? Where can we intentionally provide students the opportunity to engage in conversation, collaboration, and problem solving amongst their peers, which had been missing during distance learning? Next slide, please. Through these conversations, we were able to identify and implement targeted and strategic supports both within and outside the school day. Specific actions during the school day that we identified and committed to included hiring an additional primary grade teacher to support in first or second grades, knowing we had a first and second grade combo and anticipating a great need to support our early readers. We knew breaking apart the combo class and lowering class size would provide teachers the opportunity to provide more targeted instruction and intervention within the day. Through this action, we were able to reduce our class size in second grade to 18 students in each class and reduce our first grade classes to 20 students each. Recently, one of my first grade teachers shared with me the impact this action has had on her instruction this year. She shared that having a full-time instructional assistant, along with taking on a student teacher, has allowed her to develop specific learning targets and provide multiple opportunities throughout the day to work with each student on that targeted skill. We also wanted to build on the success of our house system. Prior to closing for COVID, we had implemented our house system and seen some great traction in terms of building community within our site. We considered how could we engage our kids in feeling a sense of community while also following COVID guidance and keeping our staff and students safe and healthy. This forced us to reimagine ways to build a sense of belonging within the school community. To address the academic needs of our students outside the school day, we implemented before and after school literacy programs for all students. To support specifically our English learners, we strategically shifted our BIA's hours to pull our English learners from Discovery Club and Bridges programs, one at a time or in small groups, to work on targeted skills and support in building their confidence. We also strategically implemented re-engagement programs before and after school to provide our students in engaging with opportunities to engage with one another outside of academics. Providing these programs gave students opportunities to practice their skills in communicating and collaborating with others while building on skills such as sportsmanship. I want to specifically highlight our morning game club. While on the surface this looks like a fun activity where students can come and play board games and card games, the reality is that it has provided a structured space in which students have the opportunity to feel comfortable interacting with others in a low-risk environment. Next slide, please. One of our identified actions was to further implement the house system with mitigation strategies in place. Before I go too far into the intentional actions that sit inside our house system, I do want to share with you a little bit about what houses mean at Northridge and how they were developed. Our house system was developed in the spring of 2019 after our winter survey data showed that our students did not feel connected to our school. Our team worked through the summer of 2019 to develop houses so they would be ready to roll out in the fall of 2019. The intention of houses is to build small communities within our school community and outside of classroom communities. Similar to that found in Harry Potter, our team created 6 houses based on the traits that we want to foster in all of our students. Some examples of these traits are gratitude, courage, and honor. The names of our houses represent the home languages of the students we serve. For example, Valoroso is the Spanish word for courage, Dobrota is the Russian word for kindness, and Pativ is the Armenian word for honor. Each house is comprised of roughly 60 students from kindergarten through 6th grade, in addition to 10 school staff members. Houses come together every Friday morning for house meetings where one of our 25 Northridge essentials is taught. These essentials are anything from holding the door open for others to saying excuse me when you bump into someone. At each of these meetings, members of each house have the opportunity to engage with others through team building activities and come together to practice their house chant. While each house meeting is structured in the same way and the same essential is taught within each meeting, over time, we have seen houses take on a culture of their own. For example, I'm not sure where one of the adult house leaders from Tiaga found a large standing drum, but it showed up to their house meeting one day and now continues to be a part of each meeting. And at house rallies, a student is always seen from Tiaga happily banging on the drum whenever Tiaga shouts their house chant. Tiaga members have most recently learned a secret handshake. These are all small moments that support our students in feeling a sense of belonging to their house as well as the Northridge community. Similar to Harry Potter, students earn house points by displaying any of the 25 essentials and earn weekly, monthly, and trimester prizes. Some of these prizes include house pencils, house stickers, popcorn parties, and pizza parties. And while these seem like extrinsic prizes, we see the value of students feeling pride for their house and community within these small tokens. This also provides students of a feeling of I belong here and builds on the success of them being at school regularly and feeling part of the school and classroom communities as well. Through our house system, we strive to support students in feeling a part of something bigger than just their classroom community. These pieces put together are all part of supporting that goal. Next slide, please. During distance learning, we continued house meetings over Zoom, but the sense of community through Zoom just wasn't the same. Over time, across the board, we saw attendance at house meetings decline while in distance learning. When we shifted to hybrid learning, we put a pause on house meetings altogether as COVID guidance did not allow for mixing cohorts. From this, knowing the time we had invested in our house system and the positive responses from our students and their families, the team's overarching question was, how can we bring back our house system while keeping our students and staff safe? I was thrilled to find we could use our ELO funds to pay my team to come together for planning through the summer to reimagine what the house system could be given the restrictions around COVID and how we could keep everyone safe. Our team met to revise and shift over 30 lessons from ones that required video to support the lesson to lessons that could be done outside without the use of technology. We also spent time implementing social justice themed essentials around identity. I'm so thrilled with our team's work in shifting these lessons to still be meaningful for students while keeping our community safe. In addition to redesigning our house meetings, we considered how we could help build up school and house pride. Our team strategically developed events to bookend each week to boost attendance. Specifically, each Monday morning, we announced the prior week's winning house over morning announcements. Student house leaders from the winning house then deliver small prizes to each house member on Monday mornings. We finish each week on Fridays with pop-up events where students can earn house points during lunch recesses. Some of these pop-up games include inflatable bowling, ring toss, and cornhole. These prizes and pop-up games were funded by our ELO grant and have truly re-engaged our students in our house system and a sense of connectedness through our system. Next slide, please. I have shared a bit with you about how we have reimagined our house system, but wanted to take a moment to show you our house system in action at Northridge. The upper left picture shows Mrs. Mendez's second grade class after the house reveal this past fall. House reveal day is like Christmas morning at Northridge. All returning students receive a newly designed house shirt for their house, and students who are new to Northridge find out which house they will join in front of their peers. As you can see in this picture, Mrs. Mendez's class is comprised of members of all 6 houses, with quite a few from our House of Dreamers, our black and gray house, Astra Logos. The lower left picture features some of our 5th and 6th grade members of our student leadership team. Our student leadership team meets weekly to develop activities and house challenges for all students. In this picture, they are setting up to give out their house shirts for the lower grades during our house reveal in October. Finally, the picture on the right side, you will see one of our 1st graders, Connor, playing a cornhole game to earn house points for his house, Valoroso, during his lunch recess. Next slide, please. With regard to progress monitoring and implementing next steps, our site is currently looking at initial data from beginning of the year, trimester 1 and 2, as we monitor progress for all students, including our subgroups. As we engage in our cycles of improvement, we will be looking closely at primary grades data around text levels, given the additional primary grades teacher. Specifically, we will be taking a close look at data around our English learners. In looking at initial iReady growth reports, I'm thrilled to share that through our iReady reading data, we have grown from 17% of our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders at or above grade level to 29% at or above. Our iReady math data shows that in grades 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, we have reduced the percentage of students who are 2 or more grade levels below by 21%. It is certainly exciting to see progress, and we will continue to leverage the effective practices of our teachers in building on this growth. Finally, we are anticipating receiving our winter survey data in the weeks to come to dig specifically into data around school connectedness and build from there. Our leadership team is currently digging into our data and preparing to share our data with teachers in the weeks to come. Alongside our teachers and site council, we plan to continue to build off our great traction so far this year. And while our teachers have supported our students in making some great gains this year, the question is shifting more to support students in becoming advocates for their own learning. We are wondering as a site, as we begin to plan for next year, how we might involve our students in progress monitoring and goal setting for themselves. And with that, I want to thank the board for your time and for your support of our San Juan students, and I'll turn it back over to you, Amberly.
It's slide 13. I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about this because I have some fun and a little bit of detailed information to share with you, so bear with me on this one. As you're aware, there are 41 schools within the elementary division, and so as a broad brushstroke, you'll see in the slide that shows up or that you're looking at, there are those two containers, academic and social emotional work. You will find these small moments and big stories that you heard at Northridge occur at every single one of our schools, and each of them has a uniquely different story and a uniquely different way that they've used these allocations through ELO. It has truly been a gift for the division, for both divisions, to have this ability and resources provided. So with all of that, I wanted to provide you with a sort of executive summary, if you will, of what's happening with who we hired and what that looks like. So for the FTE site allocations, which tends to both academic and SEL direct student services, we've collectively hired 34 intervention teachers, 2 part-time social workers, and I'll email this to you guys so you don't have to take notes, 3 part-time counselors, a BIA, 2 community intervention specialists, and an art teacher. In addition to that, we have the funding allocation that I spoke to earlier. And within that, collectively, we've also looked at our community partnerships, so I want to include that here too. Some staff and sites did decide to go ahead and hire more intervention teachers and more counselor support. We also engaged in B Street Theater support as a community partner. We have math camp partnerships before, during, and after school, athletic and team building partnerships, and 29 site-based before and after school programs, including tutoring. So all of these actions really do attend to both the academic and social emotional needs at the school sites. So as you experienced, we led into this school year with a lot of excitement and just a bit of anxiety about returning. And you would commonly find principals and staff and families asking themselves, what will this year bring? How can we ensure that we're doing everything to keep kids and staff safe? Is our assessment of student experiences, staff, and community input on point for what we have planned for this school year? Will we be meeting them where they need us to? All of these questions that we were asking ourselves fold into the heart and soul of continuous improvement, and you heard Petra speak to that a bit. Our reflections of success, our challenges, and our next steps is what leads us to where we are today, which is beginning that second year cycle of inquiry. So all of our schools right now are engaging in the work that you also heard Petra talk about, gathering input and data to make decisions with their teams as we move forward. So with that, our next steps, we are looking at engaging and asking questions by talking with teachers, with parents, with students, and with staff. We're gathering information through surveys, and we're listening to what we're hearing. In fact, if you visit a school site and you're in conversation with any of the administrators, it's highly likely that that conversation is to a point of collecting data. We value both summative and formative observational data, and what we hear from all of you is a point of information for all of us. Our elementary schools are talking through this data with their site teams, their school site councils, their PTAs, and all of these groups will help them to make those collective decisions as we move forward into next year's plan. We have a lot of work ahead, and we have a lot of feelings of anticipation and certainly a ton of excitement for what the next year will bring, and we can't wait to see what that is. So at this time, I'm going to invite the team back up with me and send it back to you, Dr. McKibben, for any questions that the board might have of us at this time.
Okay. We have no visitor comments, and so we're going to go to board questions and comments. Ms. Villescaz.
Thank you to the team for the thorough presentation, and thank you as well, Principal Larson, for reporting out on all the fantastic things happening at your site. I apologize in advance if I'm a little bit everywhere, but I don't want to forget to say, I loved the Monday and the Friday activities. We all know that those are the days with some of the biggest attendance challenges. And I just know that all the other academic success spans from that, because if kids aren't in class, then they can't learn, right? So getting them there in the first place is the first big step. So I want to just, applaud that and say I really appreciated kind of hearing about the Monday, Friday attendance improvement in particular. That was just a comment. I have one question on slide 5 about the IA professional learning piece. Can you expand a little bit more on those efforts and how we might be able to grow it, and does everybody get to participate, et cetera? I would love more details on that piece.
I can give you as much detail
Thank you.
as I have. Yes, there's multiple divisions participating in the planning of that. Yes, it is open to anyone who would like to attend. And I would love to see it grow. I think with the ELO plan being a 3-year plan, it's something that we certainly plan for it to be within that future, and I hope it doesn't go away, because it has been really supportive of the classroom teachers in their endeavors to help kids with the needs that they have as well. So it's kind of almost like a co-teacher there with you. It's really fantastic.
Excellent.
Did
Yes,
that
I'm
help?
excited about that, and I hope it continues as well. And that leads into my last comment / potential question, which is just ELO was one-time funding, but available over multiple years, right? And so thanks to the leadership of our team, of course, we built a multi-year team, but how are we kind of tracking what the successes are? Should there come a day where we kind of have to evaluate what was most successful and what was not, and the funding stops?
So a couple of pieces. So I'm sure the board recalls, we started with the ELO plan, which was more finite and it had a quicker timeline in terms of expenditures. And we wove that together with our ESSER 3 expenditure plan. So what we have is a multi-year plan over 3 years. In terms of progress monitoring, the team has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to be able to tag a student as participating in an ELO program, so that we can kind of monitor what impact that has in terms of for the student growth. And so our plan is that we will continue to monitor these ELO actions in addition to monitoring our LCAP 3-year plan, because both of these plans are going to kind of converge together, and we're going to have to assess the impact of the actions, the new actions that we're able to implement with ELO and ESSER, as well as the actions that we're currently implementing with the LCAP, to really kind of right-size when the one-time funds go away and determine and prioritize what's going to be the most impactful service moving forward.
And we still have a couple years ahead of us, so I don't want to start like lamenting it quite yet. Like, let's still use what we've got. But I also just want to point out that I don't take any of this for granted. Like, this was all very deliberate and thoughtful, and I want to thank the team, because we could have very well just said, oh, we have no idea what to do with all this money that came, where we had to develop a plan very, very, very quickly. But you really dug in instead and said, how do we make this a meaningful, thoughtful program that really gets the most impact? So I just want to acknowledge that and say thank you. I know it took a lot of hard work.
Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you for the report. I love the house program at Northridge. I think that's outstanding. I think that when children or students at any level feel part of their campus, where there's a buy-in, they're going to be there. And I applaud you for that. So my question is, one, do any other elementary schools do the same program as Northridge, or this house program that we're?
I don't want to speak too much about other sites. I know that when we had first started our house program 3 years ago, I had collaborated with Holly, who was at Coyle at the time, and so she had implemented the house system as well.
Thank you. I just want to share with you how good things can spread. Our Sportsorama program that's very, very popular at our high school level started at Del Campo probably 30 years ago. And I think every high school now does Sportsorama in some form or fashion. And if you talked, and I know my children, that their number one favorite thing about high school was Sports Around because it brought them together as a class, as a school, and it was fun. And I see that at Northridge, so thank you for that.
Mr. Hernandez, one of the things I'd like to say is even, it's been a bit of a challenge not even being able to get our administrators back together in person, which is actually going to be starting next month as well in our meetings. But the opportunity for folks to come together and learn from each other looks a little different, just like our kids learn very different virtually than they did in person. The same is true with our staff, administrators, teachers. And so I think we do need to learn from each other best practices that have started during this time, what are our takeaways, and expand those things in the coming years.
Just want to add really quick also to your point, Mr. Kern and Melissa and Petra, to fold in. The administrators are talking with each other currently about the data that they have, the successes that they've experienced, along with the challenges that they've experienced with their implementation. And we have them in network groups together. So they are talking about what's working and what's not working. There are a couple of programs that worked really well for them, and they kind of spread like wildfire. So to your point, I remember Sportsorama. It is an amazing event, and there are events and opportunities like that that are spreading throughout the division as well. So I appreciate your comment. Thank you.
Ms. Costa.
When you think that a year ago, actually about a year ago today, we came back into the hybrid model, and you look at all of the things that have happened since then, and that is a direct tribute to the staff of the San Juan District. It's really, the funding makes it all the better to be able to expand, but it's really the minds and the hearts of our employees that really have made a difference. And so a sincere thank you. I've heard so many positive things from parents, from teachers, from principals about what they've been able to do with the additional funds and what a difference it's made. And I'll be interested to see, as you continue to do inquiry around it, what has made the biggest differences. But I think if you ask people right now, everything that's happened has made a big difference. And so thank you so very much.
Please, Mr. Creason.
I love the report. Petra, it's so great to see you. I just got to say, I'm going to use this time to say, visiting Northridge was by far one of my most fun visits to date. I mean, there's diversity, there's macaroon bakers, there's sorting hats. I mean, you had it all. I mean, it was a really great time. And what I left with was such a sense of community. I mean, I think we talked about it a little. I talked to somebody about it. I was just like, it was amazing, the sense of community with the kids, with the families, between staff. You know, I really felt it when I walked away. So I was really excited to see you this evening, and so happy about the work that you're doing. I'm still gonna come back and get sorted when it's not so COVID-y out there. I have not forgotten. It's on my to-do list. So wonderful report. I don't really have a question. I do have one concern, and it really is echoing Ms. Viesquez. You know, I'm concerned about I know we're great about not using one-time funds for ongoing things, but we know education's underfunded, and so we were able to use these dollars for really great work. And I know that we were responsible, you know, with how we use those dollars. But I mean, even in the day job, it's great work happened, and eventually this money's going to be ripped away. And I'm really worried that some folks may be left off worse than they started. I'm really worried about that, and I'm not expecting an answer or a solution to that. And again, I'm glad that we use one-time funds appropriately, so we don't get into, you know, a terrible budget situation, but it's something I'm really worried about. So I appreciated Ms. Bassinelli's, you know, linking it to the LCAP and how are we gonna make the good things keep rolling? And I appreciate, you know, that forward thought. And just like my colleague said, we have a couple of years, but it is something I think about quite a lot because some great stuff is happening, and I would hate for it to just go away.
Ms. Creason, let me double down on that because what Ms. Bassinelli said, and you as well, I think every year we need to be reflecting on those actions in our LCAP and with other funds that may not be getting the same outcomes. Now, the hardest part in that is folks may like what they're doing or the people who are doing it, but if it's not getting the outcomes we need, we cannot continue those things. So I think every year we're going to need to come back and be having those conversations and putting those out in front of the board. So in my mind, next year, again, we're having the same conversation, so that as we get closer and closer to that, we're either shifting funds, we look at the possibility of returning to getting concentration dollars at some point, which we were prior to the pandemic. Those types of things are in our mind that we're thinking, how are we going to support these actions? I'll give you a good example of a conversation I've had with principals. And Petra, I don't know where you are on this, but the impact on the IAs in the primary grades has been a game changer, a lot of folks have said. Just that ability, like you mentioned, between a teacher having a student teacher and another, just that individualization that's happened. Teachers have told me that when I visited classrooms. So maybe we can't fund at the level we currently are, but maybe we get to the point where we're doing, as a principal said to me the other day, maybe I have one in grade X and Y, and they're splitting their day in the morning in this class and in the afternoon in this class. I think there's some ways we can still provide the types of supports. May look a little different, but those things that we're learning from, we absolutely have to continue. And I think we, and I know Ms. Bassinelli and her team are committed to identifying those things and finding ways to continue those.
I appreciate that very much. And all these dollars, it did provide us a heck of an opportunity to throw noodles at a wall and just see what works in a way that we couldn't do before. And now we can kind of just sort through it all. We just didn't have the resources to, I mean, of course, we do a great job of growth and changing. I don't want to take away from that. But this was a huge influx of dollars to do that on a much grander scale. So I think that there's a heck of an opportunity. There is tremendous opportunity with that. I'm just excited about it. And I'm really excited to hear what you said, Superintendent Kern, that there is a commitment to figure it out one way or another. Thank you.
I just have one question, Petra, and I may have missed it, but it's kind of a nuts and bolts kind of question. How do you decide who goes into what house?
So it's pretty mysterious, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I'll tell the secret, I guess. So when we, and my phenomenal secretary Michelle is with us, and she is the mastermind behind the sorting. She is the sorting hat. Initially, when we started houses, we pulled all of the rosters, and we just numbered students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of the ones went to Astrologos, 2s went to Dobrota, and so on. But Michelle does a phenomenal job. She's very organized. She has a spreadsheet. There's, an Astrologos sheet, and she keeps the numbers balanced. So as we have kids move out, she takes them out of a house, and then as we have kids move in, she places them in a house.
So there are kids from all age levels and developmental levels in each of the houses?
Yes, absolutely. What's
Outstanding.
happened over time is they were balanced when we originally started, but now you might see that one of the houses is really heavy with 6th graders just because we've had a lot of students move out, or vice versa. So now it's not quite as balanced, but that's the secret sauce.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone.
Said, did I miss that?
No, but it's a question we get the most often, so she's our sorting hat.
Thank you very much. One more.
I just have to say, I wish that this could be stricken from the record, because I feel like we just exposed
turned my mic
Santa to the kids. It's the sorting hat. So if there's some way to make sure your children don't see this, I'm all for that.
I think in a first, I wanted to raise my mic to say the exact same thing. It's magic. And nobody asked that question.
I can guarantee you little kids in an elementary school are not watching board meetings, so we're safe.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We move on to the next item, and when I get back to my notes, I'll know what it is. We now go to I3, the 1300 campaign resolution. Superintendent Kern.
President McKibben, members of the board, community members, I'm pleased tonight to bring forward a recommendation to adopt Board Resolution 4010 in support of the 1300 campaign. The 1300 campaign is a partnership between a number of groups that is targeting 1,300 students to increase the enrollment at both UC Davis and Sac State by 2025. The groups we're involved with is Improve Your Tomorrow, Sierra Health Foundation, My Brother's Keeper Sacramento, and the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. You can see the schools that we are partnering that are part of that in our district. They are Encina Preparatory High School, Mariloma High School, Del Campo, and San Juan. And this is something that we've been working on since the fall with the 1300 campaign team. We really wanted to go through this resolution with our partners in the district, including our site leaders as well as our teacher leaders. We had hoped to bring this earlier in the year, but we are at a point now where we're excited about bringing this resolution forward to support this initiative. And at this time, I can answer any questions.
Okay, and we have no visitor comments on this one. Yes, so Mr. Yaskis.
Very supportive of the resolution. Thank you for bringing it forward, and want to thank all of the partners involved in this effort. They're certainly all organizations that we are proud to be partners with. I'm just wondering, Superintendent Kern, can you speak to a little bit more on how we got to the targeted sites that we did?
These are sites that are identified based on a certain number of students, and that actually through our partnership with IYT, where they have been working directly with schools. So we have a contract with them, and I don't know if there's much more than that you could add, Ms. Bassnelli, but those are the sites that are currently working directly with IYT.
Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Kern, I support it 100%, but I'm just curious, does the 1,300 young men, does that include women in there, or is there a program for that, or have we thought about that?
Yeah, this campaign through IYT is strictly for young men of color, and that's what IYT has really been focused on, and their lead in the program has really brought together some really powerful folks in the Sacramento area. When you look at the disproportionality related to our young men of color, that was really his focus, where they wanted to move forward on. So at this time, it is just those young men of color.
Thank you.
Mr. Creasy.
Just two questions. Well, one question and a thought. Yeah, totally understand that IYT's focus. Would love for there to be something that focuses on women and non-binary students. I don't know what that is. I don't know what I'm suggesting, but I would love to find that community partnership that provides the same opportunity. Yeah, and I'm just wondering, why doesn't IYT work at Mesa? Is there a reason?
I would have to get more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
That I noticed that community colleges and the universities are also involved in this. Can you tell me how that link is being made?
Well, I think we have a number of leads of those community college systems, as well as the presidents at both Sac State and UC Davis, and it was really through IYT's leadership and then Chet Hewitt, where they've really brought all these folks together. So the universities were on board, and the junior or community college system really knew they were going to have to be a part of this as well, in terms of getting students who might not be ready for UC Davis and Sac State initially into the system, and then providing that pipeline directly to the university.
In terms of getting these people ready for college level work, working with the A through G requirements and so forth, what kinds of, has there been any changes needed or any early counseling? Because that seems to be one of the barriers, is they have not taken the courses they need in order to come into college.
Well, so the difference for us is that the interesting thing was that was a real, for some districts, some of these whereases were more difficult than others. For us, that wasn't, because our default graduation requirements are A through G. So that really wasn't an issue. Our students are taking those courses to qualify for A through G, where a number of districts regionally have not quite yet adopted those as their standard requirements for graduation.
If there are no other questions from the board, this is an action item, and a motion is in order.
Move the item.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Hernandez, seconded by Ms. Viasquez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This is unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move to I-4, issuance of Measure P general obligation bonds. Ms. Stahlheber.
Good evening, President Dr. McKibben, board members, Superintendent Kern, and Ms. Cunningham. The superintendent is recommending that the board review and adopt resolution number 4008, authorizing the issuance of up to $150 million of Measure P 2016 general obligation bonds. And I'd like to introduce Katie Dobson, who is with Jones Hall, and that is our bond counsel company. And so she's here to answer any questions you may have, as well as Frank.
Okay, and there are no visitor comments on this one. Are there any board questions or comments? Ms. Viasquez.
Only to say I'm excited to responsibly spend on another $150 million from the bond. And I know it'll go to good and appropriate use, and I'm excited about that. Thanks.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hernandez.
Sorry, I was trying to do math here real quick. With this assurance of the 150, based on what we had left in January of 19 of 630 million, does that leave us how much left approximately after this?
Well,
Off the top of your head?
330.
330.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
Okay. Ms. Greason.
I just wanted to note, I had the opportunity to attend my first Bond Oversight Committee meeting as the new board liaison, where this was discussed. I saw that it wasn't noted on this forum, but it was absolutely discussed by the Bond Oversight Committee, and there were good questions and total support. And so I just felt that I should mention that.
Thanks. I just have one, and I think you have defined it well, but I still don't quite. Enterprise resource planning. Can you, for somebody who has trouble, balancing his checkbook, and yes, I still do write checks, can you help me understand what it is?
Yeah, and that's up the next item.
Am I on the wrong item? Nice go. Oh, that's on the FIS systems. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
I have no questions.
I'm happy.
I was not ready for that one.
Okay, good.
I'm happy
All
to
right,
move the item.
This is an action item. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Creason, seconded by Ms. Viasquez. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, to the new system.
Yes. Superintendent is recommending that the board discuss the installation and implementation of a new enterprise resource planning financial information system. And so the definition of an enterprise resource planning is a system that takes all of your other systems and puts it into one cohesive system. So we would have our HR, our professional learning, our valuation system, all systems that we currently use other than the student information system. And the only reason we're not including that in the suite of products that we're purchasing is because we like the Power Schools version better. We just think it fits our needs better. So we started this before I arrived at San Juan. I think back in June, or maybe even before then, Peter, our Senior Director of Technology, had started working with some of these companies, asking them to submit some proposals and started scheduling some demos. And when I came in, one of the first things I noticed was some of our processes were still very paper-driven. We weren't really using technology and taking advantage of a lot of innovations that are out there currently for school business. And so I was very excited to know that we were already kind of going down this path. And so since then, we've held demos with Frontline Education, Power School, and Tyler Technologies, which is also a Munis. We had pre-meetings, we had full demos, where they did a high-level overview, and then we did more specific demos. We also met with school districts that used all of these systems to get some feedback and ask our follow-up questions that, sometimes the vendors don't know because they're not doing the work of school business. And some of the vendors work with other types of agencies. In the end, we chose Frontline, which is also Escape Technology for the financial piece. And why did we pick Frontline? Well, we really liked that the system was very robust. It was built right here in California. As a matter of fact, the company was founded in Roseville. It's local. When they started, they employed school district employees to help them build the product. And so there are some products out there that when you use, you can tell it was built by a programmer. It doesn't have all of those nuances that you want in a financial system from the end user's perspective. And so one of the pluses we found in the finance piece is that it is really driven with that aspect of a school business professional in their uses and what we need. They also have built in some other really great products like ASOP, which is now Frontline, that a lot of teachers and subs have used in most school districts throughout the state. And so as the company has bought products, they've been really good at getting great products, other than their student information system, which PowerSchool still is our choice. But it also, why we chose Frontline was because we could get this full suite. And so why would we want a ERP? Why do we want that over just an FIS or some other standalones? And part of that is because it gives us, will reduce the fragmentation of other systems. It also gives us better data integrity and higher levels of security with our data. We also know that it'll give us some end user ease with all of the screens will look familiar, and as people move in and out of positions or departments, it'll be easier to use the different software components. And so what's included in this ERP that we're purchasing? We're getting the FIS, which is a financial information system, which was previously known as Escape. We're purchasing the Frontline Human Capital Management, the Absence Sub and Time Management, which was previously known as ASOP, the Central HR and Recruiting, and the Employee Evaluation Management System. And so this is one of the slides that they had shared with us, and it shows you how the data goes back and forth between the different systems that we'll be using. And so part of, again, being in an ERP is that higher level of security with all the data being in one place. Again, these are just some of the components and how this Frontline Central will have all of our data for our employees. We believe it's going to provide a higher level of ease for our sites, as they'll be able to enter items, and we'll have a workflow where right now everything is paper-driven. They fill out a form, they send it to someone to sign, who sends it to someone to sign or to code, which then goes to someone else to enter it into a system. Our sites will be able to enter items right online, and it'll go through a workflow and go to the department that needs it. So we think we're gonna see a big reduction in stress at our site level and in all of our departments that are gonna be using this for their day-to-day work. It's one of the things that really excites me about it. We have amazing employees and they work really, really hard. It's some tasks that if we had the technology that is available would make their job easier. So I'm very excited about that. Another piece that was intimidating when we first looked at this project was the price. And so our initial quote when we went out just for the financial information system was $1.026. And so Peter and I and the rest of the team that was part of the group that met with Frontline, we really worked with them and expressed a need to see that price come down. We didn't want to have a bigger outlay than what we're currently experiencing, even though we know we're going to have a better product in the end. We also know in the end we're here to serve students, and so every dollar we're spending on something that isn't related to a student directly is something that's not making it to a classroom. They did listen and they heard us. We went back and forth multiple times, and we wound up being able to package all of the items that I've shared with you at a cost lower than what they initially quoted us for just the financial information system. They also even brought down the escalation rate by a percentage, which I think is a big win for us because we are a large district with a large contract. We wanted to see that number come down, and in the end, they did end up coming down. I think in the end, we're also going to see additional savings that may not be listed here because I really do think it's going to decrease over time. And I think through attrition, we may not need to fill some positions because the workload is going to be so much more manageable. This is our projected timeline, and we know that this is a best guess and really hopeful because there are many modules, and it's going to take a lot of employees working, outside of their regular duties. We do expect that there will be some changes made to this timeline. My dream go live is July 1, 2023. Everyone else on the team thinks I'm really ambitious, so. We'll see. Even Deanne today popped in to talk to me about it out of HR, and I said I'll be up on the weekends and I will work on this. I promise you, I'm dedicated. So we're going to try and make that timeline, but we're already aware that we may not make it. Part of this as well is we're going to implement some components sooner than later, and so for us it would make more sense to see HR go in first. Which would also be supported with our PLI team, the folks who are involved in our evaluations. And so we have a lot of folks that are going to be part of this. We're also going to bring in teams from the sites to help us drive how we're going to use the system and how it's going to benefit them the most, because we know that our end users are going to be the ones providing us with the best information for really making the most use out of this. One item I failed to mention that is one of my favorite features of this is they have built-in tutorials right in the system. So when you're in a module, you have a question, you just click on the help. It opens right up to a link with step-by-step processes, but also built-in little webinars that you can watch while you're in that particular module. So there's just a lot of great features that I think are going to benefit our staff, which in the end does affect students because our staff, I think, will be happier. They're going to be able to dedicate more time to students rather than pushing paper around. Any questions?
Yeah, let me jump in before we get into the questions and just say, I want to say thank you to Jennifer and Christy. I think one of the things, and she was kind of being kind about it, that the pandemic really called out is the lack of our up-to-date operating systems. We were doing a lot of things in a really antiquated way, which was causing a lot of stress, and I think has even made it more difficult in some of our departments in hiring or retaining folks. And so I just appreciate the kind of the effort you put into this to move this forward, because we have an opportunity now to significantly improve how we operate and support our schools. So we're excited about that. Normally what's happened in some situations like this is going to come back to the board once we actually sign the contract. So sometimes we don't bring things forward until that contract is there. But we wanted to provide an opportunity because this is such a big process and how it's going to affect a lot, to just share it with you and provide the opportunity to have you ask any questions and clarifying before it comes back once that contract is signed. So Jennifer and Christy, thank you for all the work that you guys have done, and everybody else that's supported this. And Dr. McKibben at this time will answer any questions.
Questions? There are, again, no visitor comments. Questions from the board?
Thank you for the presentation, and I have absolutely no doubt that some of our systems need updating. So let me start by saying that. So I'm excited about your enthusiasm headed into this. That being said, I think the only thing I've run away from in my professional career is IT projects, because they are terrifying. They will inevitably be implemented late by years with significant costs. So this is like totally, very, very rarely does like state bureaucratic Paula come out, but she's coming out on this dais right now because like my anxiety just like came up to here. But I am still excited about it. I don't want you to think that I'm not excited about it. So I think I just have a couple of questions just related to sort of, have we thought through contingency planning if this does take just a little bit longer? And can you talk about how that might be built in here? Like, what are our kind of checkpoints to make sure we're making the appropriate project?
We are going to maintain our current systems. And so as we move into the new systems, we will still be working concurrently in two systems for the first couple of months. So we estimate for most processes, we will have duplicative work for 30 to 90 days, depending on the process and which module we're in.
Is this sort of a commercial off-the-shelf type thing, or do we modify it as needed for our own needs?
We have the opportunities to modify every component. And what's nice is they're still writing code as it goes. And one of the items we really liked about this vendor when we talked to other districts and experience, I've worked in the system, other people on the team have worked on the system in other districts, is that they constantly do change request orders where they ask their users, what changes do you need, and then people kind of vote on it, and we let them know what we want prioritized, and that really what drives the change with this vendor. So that was also a feature we really liked.
Last question is just, so you mentioned it's pretty comprehensive and covers pretty much everything except for our student information system. Can you just talk about how it will, like, either in previous districts, or have you spoken with the vendor about how kind of our very aggressive building team and finances fit into this piece? And I'm assuming that Frank and his team were included in this, but just want to make sure it accommodates for that, because that's probably one of the most fluctuating pieces. That's a significant sum of money that we manage.
So facilities, they do have their own software system that they use.
So this is still outside, that would continue outside of
That one
this?
will continue to be outside, but my goal would be to eventually we could move them into this system as well, because we could manage those projects through the system. But we did not have them in this at the front because recently her facility supervisor, I believe, has implemented a new system that she spent, a tremendous amount of time in. And so when we first started going down this path, we decided she wanted to live in that system, see how it worked, because it was built around their current projects. So they are not in this. But she and I have had discussions that the end goal would be to get them in the system.
Ms. Fiascas, I would say there may be, a one-off here or in other places as well, like with enrollment, we're looking at something a little different than this as we've gone to online enrollment. And Mr. Ginter has been implementing that. Now, that may slide in with another system later on, but, but the majority of them in our business departments will fit under this.
Just having a lot of flashbacks to agile work environments, sandbox development, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to walk away from that really quickly. And just what my last question is here on slide 2, the voting leadership team. Is this the governance team for the full project, and you guys will kind of be co-leading?
Yeah, so we brought in lead from payroll. Because initially, we were really looking at a financial information system. It wasn't until we were really in there and seeing what all the different vendors offered that supported additional HR functionality. And the HR team was really just blown away with some of the items that could be done through the system that really would create a lot more space for their employees to be able to do work that they can't get to right now. And I know, for my department's payroll, we know we have a lot of processes we're not doing right now because we can barely keep up with the work we have. And so knowing that we'll have a system that'll automate a lot of items, we know we'll be able to, get to that work that really does need to be done.
Thank you, and that's all from me.
Thank you. My first question you just answered, I was going to ask you if you're familiar with this personally, and I think you said you used this prior, so that gives me comfort. Thank you. And I just want to say that I am all about working smarter and better. In my day job, I work for the largest insurance company in the United States. And when I started 30 years ago, when we had a transaction, we had to mail it to the regional office via stamp. And now you press a button and the person has that transaction within seconds. And I only say that because when I talked to the superintendent about this, when I met with him, and why are we doing this? And he brought up, hey, look, we still do some paper transactions, Saul, and we're going to be smarter and better. And for that, that's all I needed to know. So I'm on board. Thank you.
Ms. Creasy.
I just want to voice support for modernizing our system. So this is great, and my thoughts are with you because this is a heavy lift. And I don't mean that as a dig at all. I have all the confidence in the world. My heart is with you as you make this shift. It's a heavy, heavy lift, but it sounds like a long time coming, so this is awesome. This question is probably for you, Superintendent Kern. If I heard correctly, there was a decision made that we are happy that we didn't want to blend or change our student information system. If I think I heard that correctly, or maybe I
So
didn't.
we do have an intent to move into a new SIS system. Our SIS
Okay.
system isn't adequate either.
Okay.
We did not have the capacity, kind of to Paula's issue of trying to do both of these at the same time. So I think what you will see is once we get through this process with this system, we will be looking to implement a new SIS as well that should better serve our schools. Anything more you want to add to that?
The only other, pertinent information is that the SIS system that they had available was for another state. And there aren't many users in California, and we didn't want to take the risk of trying a product that we wouldn't really be happy with in the end. We know there's some products that are in California that districts really think are great products.
Nope, that's great. That answered my question. So we are going to be making a change. It's just going to be separate and apart, which I think is very smart. Don't uplift everything at the same time. Thank you.
Just, I'm looking at slide 10 related to cost analysis, and in there you talk about through attrition you will be reducing staff, and is that across all departments, or is that particularly hit one department more than any other?
I think it'll be across department. I think IT, we may be able to reduce. I think in HR, I think in payroll, I think in fiscal. I think some of the support positions that we can't deal with the volume right now, and a lot of it's driven by our processes, our manual processes, but it's not something we're counting on right now. We're just looking at, we know we have processes that are manually driven. They take a lot of time. We work really hard at it. And as people leave, we may see that we don't have a need to fill a position because we've created, streamlined processes that are driven by technology, and we don't need somebody filling out a form or punching buttons.
And what's your projection in terms of how many years this attrition will occur in?
Well, because I don't think we'll be in the system for a couple of years. I think it's about 3, 4, maybe even 5 years down the road. Because as we're in the new system, we'll be kind of, creating our processes. We're going to write them as we're going in, but I've been through a couple implementations, and so you tend to think it's going to work this way, and then once you're in there doing the work, you tend to have to tweak some things. So.
Thank you very much. This is an information item, and so thank you very much for all of the work. This sounds like a lot of work, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. We're now moving to board reports. Are there any board members who would like to make a report? Ms. Costa.
I'm going to try. Former board member Greg Paulo called me last week and asked me to remember 2 El Camino teachers who, and I quote, were El Camino giants. Frank Calcano and John Christophilus were history teachers and coaches at El Camino and were loved by all, and they've recently passed away.
Okay. Are there any other board members that have? Mr. Vasquez.
I had the pleasure of going to see the Oklahoma production at El Camino. Some of my colleagues were there too, so you might also be reporting out on that, but it was just fun. I was glad that I went. The production was fantastic. Everything about it was great, but it was also just nice to see kids having fun again. In addition to that, I was able to participate in Read Across America Day and join Miss Donna Hale's class, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And that is the conclusion of my report. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez.
On that first Monday where students had the choice to wear a mask or not, I was able to visit an elementary school and the principal, and it was really to go see these faces that we haven't seen for 2 years, and but also to be able to support choice, where some students were still choosing to wear masks, which is great. We support that, and but it was great to see smiling faces again, and we actually went through every single classroom and looked, and so it was a good day.
Ms. Creason.
I didn't prepare my list, but it's been great. I was able to attend Oklahoma. It's just great to get back on school sites and really interact on a different level. I wasn't going to talk about masks, but I have a kid that prefers to wear his mask still, and I have been very happy that there hasn't been backlash one way or another. People are doing their own thing, and the kids, at least at his school, have been very respectful of wherever their I want to say coworkers. That's not. It's getting late. They're co-students, the student body. I know words. You know what I mean. They're colleagues. Someone help me with the word.
Peers.
Peers, thank you. There's been respect of peer choice, and that really warmed my heart, because I have told my kid, you do what makes you feel most comfortable, whatever that may be, and so I've been really happy about that because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. That has been a great thing, and again, it's just been great to be back going to in-person events again in a safe way. The sanitizer is still available. I think that there's still a respect of personal space and boundaries. I think we all have learned lifelong lessons, and I hope we continue to be safe, to continue to be safe. Thank you.
Was there, okay. We'll move next into, are there any board members that would like to add any items to the future agenda? No, okay. Saying that, there are no requests for comments, and therefore, we are adjourned.